Welcome back to the class overview. Today is week 2. We looked at animation blueprints and character blueprints and how we can put them inside levels, and we looked a little bit about animations. So the first thing I did was create a playable character for all of us. This isn't anything special. This is the same one as the one that Unreal provides. The third person character, it's just copied over. Uh, the only reason I copied it over is because it already has all the code for movement, for jumping, and a sprint code that I added last time. The things we changed in it, however, are the materials and the animation blueprint. So on the right side on the details panel, you can see if you click the viewport and you click the mesh, that you can select and change materials, and you can select and change the animation blueprint, assets, etc. So in order for us to make it so like it was a different color from the previous existing one, we created a duplicate material and we just changed the color on it using the material parameter right here. Okay. Then once we finished that, initially we were using the third person animation blueprint, which still works with it because that is the one that is created by Unreal. We looked at how we can add code so that as soon as our game starts, we start with our playable character instead of our previous one. In order for us to do that, what we did was drag and drop a character into the world itself. I already have one, so I'm not going to do that again. And then as long as we have it selected on here, we can right click and get a reference for it, or we can drag and drop it and also get a reference for it. So that reference is right here. We learned about event begin play. So as soon as the level starts, this execute node is going to run. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to possess this particular character, which is why it has a reference to it, and the person that's trying to possess it, that's the player controller. So we learned about the possess function block. You won't be able to find it without context sensitivity turned off. So you need to make sure you turn it off and then select it. All right, then we looked at how we can use the possess node to change between the two parts. So we added to our pre-existing code. I added a little comment here. Just give it a little color. So as soon as you press one, it's going to switch between characters. And the logic it follows is this Boolean variable is initially set to true. So once it runs through this execute node, it's going to go through true. It's going to make it false, and it's going to switch the character to third person. And if we press it again, now this Boolean has become false, so it's going to go down the second path, and then this Boolean variable is going to turn true, and it's going to possess the old character. So if I go ahead and play right now, I can press 1 and it will switch the characters. Also have the little top left message on there with the print strings. Okay. The other part we looked at was just like we created a material, we wanted to create an animation blueprint. So instead of just copying over the old one, we decided to create a brand new one. And the way we did that was right-clicking on the content browser, going to animation, and then clicking animation blueprint, and selecting the skeleton that we were using. So the skeleton we are using currently is this one. It's under mannequin / character / mesh. So we are going to look for exactly that one, which is mannequin / mesh / sk mannequin. So we would do this, we press OK, and that would create an animation blueprint. The animation blueprint has two different things: an event graph, where we're going to put the code, so it has similar things such as the variables and the details panel, etc. But it also has an animation graph. So the animation graph is going to be responsible for all the animations that are played. So this output pose is the final thing that is going to be displayed outside. Then we learned about state machines. So in order for you to create a state machine, you just right click on here and you can search for state machine. you add a new state machine, and then it is a function which can hold multiple things inside it. So amongst having state machines, we're also going to be learning about blending and blend spaces later on today. But inside the state machine itself, what you need to do is you need to drag out a node, and then you can pick one of these two. So you usually go with state. Conduit is for animation buffering. So if you have three animations or three ways you can get into an animation, that's how you go into it. But we're not going to need that for now. Yeah, so we just go ahead and create a new state. So this arrow, this signifies what the entry state is going to be. And then between them, once you create a state, you can drag arrows to different kinds of uh, states inside it, and each of these is able to have code inside it. So, for instance, we can have a Boolean variable here which says is sprinting, and then we connect it to here. So whenever that Boolean variable turns true, this state animation is going to go directly into there. Um, we will learn more about this tomorrow, but other than that, if you open the idle, it still has an output animation pose, and we just put the play third person idle. All right. And then we just go back to our original character that was created today, and we pick our own animation blueprint, and it should only be running in idle right now. And since there is no code attached to it, if I move it around, it's just going to constantly stay in the idle state. All right, that's all we learned for today.